on camera because of the way it does record. It only records my face, but just so you know, it is going to be recording. All right, welcome everybody. It's so good to see you couple days after a nice long weekend. It's always hard to get back into the groove of things, especially during the break or the time we go back to work between December and winter break. But thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. My name is Alicia Gallegos Butters, and I have the pleasure of serving as the Director of Educational Technology here at the San Diego County Office of Ed. And I am very fortunate that my colleague, Carrie Lane, is joining me today. So we are a small team. We're a team of 5 people, and we do all sorts of work in everything ed tech. And I'm going to show you just where you can find out everything that we do in ed tech as we move forward today. So the resources, there is a link on the PowerPoint for you. And so you could get everything from there. My contact information is here, and Carrie Lane's contact information is here for you. But I do want to also show you where you can find a lot of our upcoming trainings, but where you can also find the videos and the resources for everything that we've done in the past. So here you have 2 links here. The first one is our EdTech page. On our EdTech page, if you go down, you can click on the calendar of events. And this is an interactive calendar of events where you can sign up for our professional developments if you would like. And the other link that's really important is the view events and resources. Now, people love this one, and the reason why they love it is because every single resource that we've done, every training that we've done, we put our presentation out there, we put the job aid out there for you, and we also put a link to the video for you. So everything is there for you. But what I'd like to call to your attention is we have a couple new professional developments coming up in December. Tomorrow, we're going to have one on Curious About Avid. They've done a lot of changes to their program, and they asked us if they could really talk about it with all of you. So that is going to be tomorrow. And then the next one that is coming up is our Ed Tech for Littles. This is huge. So this one is going to be done by Jessica Sierra, and it is really storytime design thinking. So it does concentrate in TK, but if you are TK all the way up to, I would say 4th grade, it's a really good one for you to consider going to. That's next week on December 12th. And then on December 19th, right before we go for winter break, we have one AI use in classrooms, the latest in productivity for teachers. So those are the ones that we're closing out the year with. So please feel free to come to any of those, sign up for them. You just click on the link and they will get you to the sign-in page. All right, we're going to go ahead and start today. But before we start, just to tell you the way I like to train, if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'm okay with interruptions as well. We're a small group, but we're really informal here. And so please feel free to ask as we go. So today you are here for Forms and Sheets, Google's Form and Sheets, which is a really fun one to do. So we're going to be going through them. It is kind of a lot to do, but you're going to do fine on it. All right. So why do you want to use Forms? Google Forms, when it first came out, it was really just a survey tool, and people used it to survey, and it was a really good tool for when you were doing a potluck and you'd send it out to your staff, and you would ask your staff, who's going to bring um, the 7-layer bean dip, who's going to bring the plates and napkins. So a lot of schools started using it as kind of like that form. Then teachers started discovering these really cool things about it, that you could do quizzes, that you could really personalize instruction, that you could use it in your classroom a lot of different ways. As teachers started discovering that, Google started creating Google Forms in a way that it became a little more teacher friendly. So we're going to look at it from that teacher's point of view today, but we're also going to look at it from that standard survey point of view as well, because it's good for both. Now, the other one is Sheets. And a lot of times people wonder, like, why do you do Google Form and Sheets together? And the reason is because the way Google has created it is that when you create a Google Form, it goes straight into a Google Sheet. You don't have to do anything. It's an automatic, which is a really great thing. So that's one of the nice things about this. Okay, so Google Sheets, we're going to show you some quick calculations. We're going to talk a little bit about data. We're going to talk about how to kind of filter forms, how to change them up a little bit. So we're going to be doing quite a bit of work with a form today. All right, before we start, any questions?
Actually,
Okay.
Alicia, can I just do a quick poll of making sure everyone can see your screen? I got a couple of messages that it's not showing your screen, but I can see your screen. So
Okay, give me a thumb up if you can see my screen.
yeah, quite a few people are saying they see a blank screen.
Okay, I'm going to
I
stop
see yours.
sharing. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share again for you guys,
Okay,
okay?
perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so stop sharing. And thank you for letting me know that. And okay, so I just shared again. So what you should be seeing is the screen that looks like it's the presentation and it says use Sheets for teaching and learning. Give me a thumb up if you can see that now. Okay, I'm seeing people are giving the thumb up. Okay, so we're good. It might have been like, I don't know. I'm not sure, but we're all good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with forms. And so what I'm on is my Google Drive. And you can see that I'm in my Google Sheets, the folder for you. Okay, to start Google Forms, what you're going to do is there's numerous ways, and in the job aid that we have provided for you, you're going to see all the different ways you can open a form. So everything that I'm going to go over today is going to be in this job aid. So don't feel you need to take notes lightning speed. It's all here for you in the job aid, and you have access to it for as long as you need. All right. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to new, and that's usually the place you want to start when you're in your drive. And I'm going to go down to forms. Anytime you see this triangle in Google, it's telling you there's more stuff to look at. So it's letting us know you can do a blank form, you can do a blank quiz, or you can create something from a template. I'm just going to show you the template first. We're not going to create from the template, but I'm going to show it to you. Okay, yes, go ahead and create in there. All right, as you can see, Google has provided you a lot of templates, and they're great. And this is a really good place to start if you don't really know how to start a form. You want to probably start here. As a teacher, I love that they have some here for you. So they have a quiz, they have an exit ticket, and who doesn't love a good exit ticket? It has a quick assessment, which we're going to kind of create our own. It has a worksheet and a course evaluation. So again, this is a really, really good place to start if you're kind of new to Google Forms and you're like, I want to create something, but you don't know where to start. You also might have something where your school has put some templates in there. So as you can see, mine says SDCOE. They have some templates created. I don't know what they are, but they do. All right. Now, but now that you know that's there, what we're going to do is we're going to go to new and we're going to go to form, and I'm just going to create a blank form. Okay. Now let's just become familiar with this form. This form, you have the title here. I always like to give my title first. So we're going to call this just test form. That's what we're going to call it. You can call it whatever you want. So if you're working alongside and you want to create like an exit ticket or a quiz or something like that, please feel free to do that. All right. And again, if you have questions, just raise your hand. And Carrie is also working the chat. So if you have something that you want to put in the chat, Carrie can help you there. Okay, so I'm calling this test form. What you'll notice is when I called it that, it made that same, it called it here test form. So whatever you name it, it's going to name it there, which is fine with me for this one. It also gives a form description. And if a lot of times what you'll see is if you're using this as a survey, this is where you want to explain what that survey is about. So this survey should take you about 10 minutes. It's really finding out if what your likes and dislikes have been over the course of the new lunch program. You know, I'm making this up. So something along those lines. You can put that in there. All right. So and that's just called form description, and people will see that. So you want to make sure that that's clear and that's to the point. All right. The other thing you're going to see is right here you have questions. You're going to see responses, and this response is really the beauty of Google Forms. And I'll pull up some other Google Forms so you can see what those look like with a multitude of responses. And then settings. Settings is going to be very important. So let's go ahead and take a really quick look at settings right now. Now, let's say you forgot to make this a quiz and you want to make it a quiz now. This is where you can also make it a quiz. And just because this is a training, I'm going to go ahead and make it a quiz. So I'm going to click here. And do you see how everything kind of changed? Let me go back. Here, I don't have that much information, but when I make it a quiz, I get a lot of information. Okay. So you have some choices to make here as a teacher. So do you want to release the grade immediately after the student takes it? Sometimes if it's like an exit ticket, that's great. Sometimes if this is like a multiple choice, but you have some open-ended, then you probably don't. So again, you know yourself as a teacher and you know what you would like to put in there or not. Okay. And so you can click on later or immediate. It's fine either way. Also lock mode. So this means that while they're taking it, they can't open other tabs. So again, this is usually something that if it's only operated by your school has like they use Chromebooks and they push it out on a Chromebook. So you can't send this out to people and they're using like their Mac or they're using their own PC. So this is like during class time if they are using their school sanctioned Chromebook. All right. So that's something to consider. Also, you can then see how, like, you can have students see how they answered the question. If it was incorrect, it's going to show you the right question, correct answers, point values. We'll talk about that a little later. So all of that is back here in this section. If you want to have every question have a point value, like if every question's 2 points, you can do that. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It just depends. But again, this is really a great place for your exploration. So you can see how responses are collected. You can verify them with the school email if you want. Again, have a look at this and have some fun with it. Kind of play around with it. We're not going to go over every single one, but they're there. Any questions about that or how I got there or anything like that? Everybody good? Okay. So again, questions, responses, settings. All right. Now, over here, you're going to have some other items that I just want to bring to your attention. You have add-ons. You don't need that for a basic class, so just ignore the add-ons right now. But you're going to have the customized theme. I always like to change the theme right away because I think this purple is not my favorite color. And I really apologize to you, Joy, because I know purple is your favorite color. I'm a green, so I always like to change my color palette to green. And as you can see, it changes it, but you can do your favorite color if you would like. And the way I got there was that customized themes. What I can also do is I can also I can put in an image, I can change it around. So again, play with this section on your own and customize it any way you would like. The other thing that I would like to show you is this little eye. And this eye is a great tool because it's going to allow you to do a preview as you're creating your form. So I'm always clicking back and forth between this eye to see, like I create something, I'm like, what does it look like? And then I come back and then I create, I'm like, what does it look like? And then I come back. So again, it's there for you. All right, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to create something. Okay?
Alicia, can you
Yes.
zoom into your screen? It's kind of small on the test form.
Oh, it is. Okay, let me, how's that?
Much better. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to create some questions, okay? And the first one is this untitled question. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask people for their email address. So I'm typing in email address. And notice when I do that, it automatically changes it. It's smart like that. It knows it's asking for an email address. So it makes it a short answer instead of multiple choice. Now, the other thing I want to make sure of is that when somebody does an email, that when they do this, it's actually an email address. So I'm going to show you how you can verify it. So I'm going to make this required. And do you see these three dots right here? I'm going to click on those three dots and I'm going to go down to where it says response validation. Now, in the response validation, this is a really great place to become familiar with. So you can say this response has to be a number that's greater than 10. You can say this needs to be, you can start to like say what the answer, kind of give a hint or not allow somebody to put something in there if it's not correct. But I'm going to show you how you can make sure it's an email address. So I'm going to make this a text. And then do you see it's changed to contains? And then I'm going to come down, email. Now it is requiring somebody to do an email. All right. Any questions on that? And then if somebody doesn't do an email, you can actually have a customized message go out to them saying, you need to use a proper email or something like that, whatever you want to do. Okay, so that's just a really quick, easy, cool thing in Google Forms. Any questions about that? Very good. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add some more questions. So on the side, we have our questions here. And so what I'm going to do is to add a question, it's that plus sign. It's very easy. So I'm going to click on that plus sign and here's a question. Now there's a lot of different questions you can choose from. So I clicked on where it said multiple choice, but I can click on a short answer. I can click on a paragraph. Multiple choice checkboxes allows you to click on more than one. The drop down is also nice. You can upload a file, which we'll talk about in a little bit. You can do like a Likert scale. You can have them rate. This is new. I haven't used it yet, but we'll try it we'll try it on one of these questions. You could do one of those multiple choice grids, which has like, all sorts of questions and then going down. It's kind of hard to set up, but once you do it, you'll never go back. You'll be like, this is great. Checkbox grid, same thing. It's like going over and down. I'm sure you've all seen those. Is anybody here one of those Nelson families where they ask, like you get those questions and they ask you what type of TV you watch, or if you do. Okay, I am one, and their surveys are intense. Sometimes I look at the surveys and I'm like, I don't know who created this, but they must be a whiz at all of this because they can do the multiple choice grid and the checkbox grid like nobody's business. So again, if you need to, like, you can always look up examples of what those look like. If you're like, oh, those are kind of, I can't figure it out. You could also do date and time. All right, but what we're going to do is we're just going to do a simple multiple choice. And it's going to be, my question is going to be, do you like tacos? Question mark. Very simple. And then you also have, here it will say you can use their suggestions, which is add all. And I'm going to actually do that. And I'm just going to click and then it adds it. I could even add another one that could be, I don't know. I live in Scotland. And I'm saying that because I just got back from Scotland and I offered to make tacos one night and nobody, my husband's from Scotland, and nobody knew what I was talking about really. So that's why I said, I don't know. I live in Scotland because they don't really know about the whole taco thing. Okay, so made my multiple choice. If I wanted to change it, if all of a sudden I wanted to say checkbox, it's going to change it to checkbox right there. So just because you do something doesn't mean you can't change it. All right. Now, what I want to do though, is I want to show you that let's say somebody says yes. And if they say yes, you want them to continue on with the survey. But if they say no, you want to boot them out because here you really want to find out a lot about tacos. So what I'm going to do now, and I want you to watch and then you can ask questions, is if I want to, it's called, oh, I just forgot the name of it. It's when when you have like yes, and then it'll take you to a different section, or you put no and it ends it. There's a name for it, and I just forgot. It's my 55-year-old brain. Okay, but I'm going to click here on add sections. So I'm going to add a new section, and I'm going to call this talk favorite tacos. That's this section. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do here is I want this now to go to that new section. So I am going to, again, I just had a brain fog on this and I did it this morning. So Carrie,
Yes.
walk me through it, please. I just had a quick brain fog on how to go to the next section.
So you need to set up the next section with the, yep. And then with the 3-dot icon,
That's right.
you are going to go to
Go to
based
section.
on
Thank
answer.
you.
And as Hope said in the chat, it's either known as branching or sometimes it's called conditional formatting. But that's kind of confusing because conditional formatting is usually for sheets. So branching.
Yeah, and that's like not something I know when I teach it at San Diego State, it's actually called something different. Anyway, but no big deal. You guys all got like it's that you kind of could go wherever you want. All right, so here, if somebody says yes, let me show you again what I just did. So I went here and it goes to section based on answer. Okay. And then here I'm going to say if they answer yes, I want them to go to the next section, which is right here, that favorite taco. If they answer no, what I want them to do is I want them to submit the form because there's no need for us to move any further with them. They're done. Here, again, if they said maybe, or actually this one, they're going to go to, for the first one, they're going to go to favorite tacos. For this one, they're just going to, I might create another section to like explain what a taco is, something like that. Or, you know, I can like branch it off or have many different sections based off of what that answer is. Does that make sense? Everybody with me? Okay, so now I'm gonna kind of play around with it, and I want to show you when you go to the preview what it looks like. Okay, here I am. So I have my answer, so I have to do A Butters. Making sure, do I like tacos? Yes, I do. Next. And it's going to take me to the next section. But since it's the preview, it's not. Okay. So anyway, I'm kind of playing around with it, figuring out how it goes. All right. Any questions about it? How to do that? All right. Now, in this section, what we're going to do is we are going to continue creating some more things, some more questions here. So I'm going to click on the plus sign. And what I'm going to do is, do you like carne tacos? But what I'm also going to do is I want to add an image of it. So what I did is I typed this here, this in here, and then I went to add inline image. So I can click on that and do a search, and I can search my files. I can go to the web. I can do Google Images, which I think I will. I'm just going to type tacos. Okay. And I'm going to insert this. It's really big, but it looks really good. And I can change it a little bit if I wanted to. I could add a caption. So, and then again, you could do yes, no. You can change it to short answer, etc. Okay, any questions about that? You can also add an image right here. So this is another place if I wanted to add an image as well. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and add another question here. And this question, what I want to do is I want to add a YouTube video. So I'm going to click right here where it says add video, and I'm going to search YouTube. So making tacos. And let's do that one because it has 6 million views, and I'm going to insert that video. So what you'll notice is when you do a video, you can't add questions though. So I'm going to show you how you can do that. So here I'm going to put some directions. Please watch the video and answer the question below. Okay. And then I'm going to come here, and then I'm going to say, was that easy to make tacos? And then again, you could do yes, no, maybe if you wanted, or you can say, you can even say, write down the steps of making tacos. And then you can have a paragraph if you wanted. All right, so how is everybody doing? Any questions of what we've done so far? Pretty easy? Okay. So again, I want to urge you to kind of play around with this and to make sure that you understand it. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is if I click here, you'll see that there's an answer key because remember I made this a quiz. So if I wanted to give this an answer, what I did is I clicked on this answer key. And if the correct answer, and again, I'm making this up because the correct answer is not you have to like tacos, but let's say it is. It is you have to like tacos. And I can give that 3 points. So, and then I click done. So that is how you create that answer key. What you can't create the answer key on is open-ended. So remember here when we were in the settings and it said release the grades immediately or later after manual review, because I have like some that are multiple choice, but I also have some that are open-ended. I would say don't release the score. Save it and release it once you finish grading everything. Okay, because as you can see, for this open-ended, there's no answer key. The answer key is only for those multiple choices. So that is one of the limitations. All right, so if I wanted, again, if I wanted to take a look at this, I could come here. It's not letting me because I didn't answer my required question. Okay. Okay, there's my picture. Here's my
Let's make the
video.
greatest carnitas ever. Salt.
So again, you're seeing how it's coming together really nicely. All right, let me get out of that and back here. Now, suppose I wanted to play around with this a little bit. Do you see these 6 dots here at the top? This allows me to drag my questions. So I can drag the order of my questions as well, which is a nice little feature. So keep in mind you have those options as well. I could always change my palette. And right here, because I've only given something, a question 3 points, it's right there as the question. All right. We're going to move out of Google Forms right now really quickly. But before I do, I'm going to give you kind of a minute to think if you have any questions. So I'm going to set my timer for 1 minute. And if you have any questions, please be sure to ask. Okay, no questions. All right. Now, the magic of having pause on Zoom has allowed me to go into an ed tech professional learning opportunities feedback survey that we do at the end of the year, every year, for people who have done our professional development. So this is an example of a really thought out profession or form. So here you can see we have a lot of questions. Here we have the Likert. Here we have short answer. Here we have that grid that I was talking about that we had to think really hard about how to do it. Short answer, again, a grid again. We were asking people to make some decisions. We were asking people's opinions, short answer, short answer, short answer. So this is just a really quick one that we did. Now, what I want to show you is the responses. And this is really something that I love about Google Forms is that it gives you your responses in a way that is so nice. And as a teacher, I taught English and I would do exit surveys all the time. And I would also use this as an anticipatory set at times. But what's really nice about it is it gives you these graphs right away. And so if I'm clicking, oh, 58% of the people went to 1 to 5 professional developments. I get that visual right away, and it's phenomenal. Love it. Here you can see it also breaks it down. And what it does is it breaks it down so it's really intuitive for you, and it figures out what the best charts are or the best figures it would be to take a look at this. I also teach at San Diego State. I teach the evaluation course. It's 3 semesters long. And students, I encourage them to use Google Forms when they're gathering their data because of this feature. It's very good. So again, it has the open-ended. You can just go through them here. A really nice thing that you could do, and this is kind of a cool little trick that you could do, is you can copy all this and you can put it into ChatGPT and say, find themes from the responses below. Put it in there. And here it breaks it down instantly and gives you the themes. And so again, think about all the time you save as a teacher. So if you're doing a quiz, you can take like those open-ended questions and say, where did students need extra help, or analyze this. So there's a lot of really cool things that you could do. So these were kind of the themes of our professional development. Any questions about that, how I did that? Again, I copied it and I just put it in ChatGPT and I asked it to find themes. Okay. Again, it lays it out. This is how it shows me that grid. So it takes the grid and breaks it up like this. Again, the open-ended grid, how people prefer their training and their satisfaction. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to show you, any questions about that? Was anybody kind of impressed that we could take it and put it into ChatGPT and have it give us some themes? Hopefully, yeah. Okay, good. Thank you, Joy. Okay. Now what we're going to do is the other thing that you're going to see, and this is going to move us into Sheets, is every time you do Google Forms, you're going to have this option that says View in Sheets. Okay. So right here, if you click on that, it automatically takes it and makes a sheet for you. And again, it lays it out. Is it as nice as this? No, it's not. But what it does allow you to do is to start manipulating the data in a way that makes some sense for you. So I'm going to take you into a budget that was created for a grant that we wrote. It's all public knowledge, so that's why I'm using it. And we're going to start playing around in Google Sheets. Okay? So we're going to use this as kind of our playground. But to get to Google Sheets, if you don't use that feature in Forms, if you're just creating a sheet completely on your own, this is how you do it. So you're going to go up to New, and you're going to go down to Sheets. And again, you're going to have a blank spreadsheet, create in the folder, or you're going to have a template. And honestly, I don't think the templates are really that fun, but like for me, I like to create my own, but they're there if you like them. So there's education, attendance, grade book, assignment tracker. To me, those are kind of dumb ones because we know as teachers, we have like our Synergy, we have our student information set, we have our Canvas, we have all sorts of things that we put our grades in. We're not using Google Sheets to do that. We're not using Google Sheets to track attendance, but that's what they gave us. Gradebook, we're using something else. But again, there's all sorts of other stuff just for you to play around with. It's there. I want to show you. All right. Now, to give you just kind of a overview of what Google Sheets looks like before you start putting information in it. Here you're going to have your untitled spreadsheet. So you want to give it a spreadsheet or a name. So again, I'm going to call this test sheet. You can call it whatever you would like. You have all your different tools up here. And Google Sheets is one of the main ones that I say, become familiar with all the tools. All the tools become familiar with, because you eventually will use a lot of them. Okay, so you have the file. The one I use the most probably is, I use Format a lot. And if you start getting really advanced, you'll use the data one a lot as well. Okay. Now to enter something in, you just kind of type. So I'm going to make this title of my sheet. That's the title of my sheet, title of my sheet. Okay, but I want to make it long because as you can see, it's only in cell 1A. So I want to make this across here all the way to F. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all the way to F, and I'm going to come to this icon right here, and I'm going to say merge cell. And so do you see how it merged all those cells? And now what I'm going to tell it to do is it's horizontally aligned. So it's aligned to the side, the left-hand side, but I'm going to ask it to align in the center. And do you see how it starts to align in the center? And then back in the day when I would like get all fancy, I would always add a bit of fill color to this. And so I use that little paint bucket just to indicate that. And because Joy's camera's on and she helps me a lot when I have HR issues, I'm going to make it purple. So there we go. So as you can see, you can start to manipulate this in any way you really want. And again, you get all of those here. Any questions about that? Okay. Now, you can also, there's different types of, like if you do a number, like let's say I put 100 and I want to make it money, I can click on the $ and it will make it money automatically. Or if I wanted to make it a percentage, it'll make it a percentage. So again, this is something that you really want to play around with and have some fun with. And I suggest always, you can go online, and if you want to get really good at Google Sheets, you can actually Google sample sheets to practice it. That's how I learned. I did a lot of sampling. But what we're going to practice in today, and I'm going to show you a couple real quick things, is my budget. And my budget is right there. Okay, so this is a grant budget. And the things I want you to notice is here on the bottom, there are a lot of different tabs. So do you see all those tabs? Tabs are easy to create. So if you want to create new tabs, you go here and you're actually adding new sheets. You come to this plus sign and you click on it and you're going to get a new sheet. And so it always pushes it to, where did my sheet go? Where'd my new sheet go? Oh, there it is, sheet 8. So my sheet is down there, sheet 8. If I want to change the name of that sheet, I can change the name of it by clicking on that arrow and coming up to rename. So I'm going to call this new sheet, just so I know. Okay. And now I have old updated equipment sheet. Do you see how I'm doing that? Wendy, I'm going to go ahead and turn your camera off just because when people drive, it gives me car sick. Thank you. Okay, so do you see how that has the new sheet there? If I wanted to move that new sheet, I can just click on it, oops, and drag it. You click and you can drag it wherever you want it to go. Very, very simple. Okay. Any questions? Everybody feeling good about that? All right, now we're going to kind of play with some things. So what I like about this is we didn't get this grant, but we really put it all out there. We were like, we want everything. So, but if I wanted to start adding some things up, I could start adding these numbers up. And I'm just going to, because this is my playground, I'm going to go ahead and start to add things up just right here. So anytime you want to create like a formula, and that's what it's called. And that's really the beauty of Google Sheets. You can start creating formulas by putting an equal sign there. And if you look up here automatically in this sheet, it knows you're doing something. It's like, okay, when you put that equal sign in, it's like, oh, formula. So I'm going to put in sum. And then what I want to do is I want to add up some of these. So I'm just highlighting the numbers. I could go all the way up, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to close my parenthesis and hit enter. So it gives me that sum. It automatically starts to add that up. So again, what you want to do anytime you're doing something like that, and this is probably the easiest one, you're just going to hit enter. You're going to put what you want to do. This is a sum, but if you start typing stuff in, it'll help you as much as possible, but I'm going to show you some shortcuts. And then it's going to give you that parenthesis and you just highlight what it is you want to do. So I'm going to go all the way up. Okay. And see how it kind of follows me. So I don't have to go all the way back down and it's telling me this is the amount. I'm going to put in close my parenthesis and hit enter, and there's the amount. All right. So that's a really kind of fun thing to do. Now, another really cool one to do is if you wanted to start adding up, like if I wanted something from this spreadsheet to another spreadsheet. So how many of you maybe keep tabs of something throughout the year? So you have like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, something like that. And you want to kind of add it up over the course of the months. So I'm going to show you how to do that right here. So I have this budget, Carolina's budget, and I want to pull something from updated. So I'm just going to play around with it a little bit. So again, I'm going to put my plus sign and put sum. And then, let me see, I have this right here. Let me copy this because this is my formula that I was playing with. I'm going to put that here. Okay, so if you look up here to do that, what you want to do is, and this is very important, you want to write it down absolutely correct. So you want to use one, is that called, it's like a one parenthesis, or it's like on your keyboard, it's underneath the quotes. It's just that one. So you want to do that one, and then the spreadsheet that you're calling it. So this is Carolina updated. So it's right there, and then you're going to close it off. Then you have to have the exclamation point, and you're saying pull from this cell. So G 123. So it's pulling from that cell. So I'm saying pull from this cell, comma, and then pull from this one, and then I pulled from the cell down here. Really far down, from the cell down here. So again, if you look, that is the formula to do it. So if you want to start pulling. Now, if you're confused on how to do this, you can also start going to ChatGPT. So if you look, I've been playing around with ChatGPT all day long, asking it all sorts of formulas. And so you could just type in formula. How do you make a formula on Google Sheets that counts names. Just see what it's going to say. Okay, so here it's if you want to count how many times a particular name, say John, appears in a range, here's a formula. So you can start, I love AI for this. It gives you these formulas. I used to have to go through a book called remember those dummy books? I would go through those dummy books and I'd have all my formulas like highlighted and bookmarked. And now I'm just putting them in ChatGPT and it's telling me what to do and I'm using that. So again, as you start to play around with Google Forms, you want to use AI a little bit to help you with it. Okay, questions. We only have about, gosh, time goes by fast. We only have about 8 more minutes. So again, let me show you our grant. So you could kind of play around with it. Here, this was something that was merged and made big. We had different areas. So this looks like a really complex grant or a spreadsheet, but it really wasn't. We just kind of played around with it and made it work for us. And that's really how Google Forms works. You want to just kind of play around with it, or Google Sheets works. You want to just play around with it and figure out what you can do to make something like this work. All right, before we end, any questions? And I know I went through everything really fast, but any questions? Let me check the chat, even though I know Carrie is right on that. None, everybody's good, very clear. It's pretty easy. It's really pretty easy. Okay. Everybody feels pretty good. All right. Any thing that I